TikTok's future. Let's get to that. Well, in the U.S., it is back in the hot seat, very hot, as the House has revised the $95 billion emergency aid bill for Israel and Ukraine to include a bipartisan effort to release China's grip on the popular video app. The legislation aims to force Chinese-owned ByteDance to sell its stake in TikTok's U.S. operations to a U.S. organization or company or face a total ban. With the package on fast track to passage in the House, the Senate is also expected to approve the measure for President Biden to sign into law next week. According to Capitol Hill lawmakers, TikTok is a national security issue because China uses it as a propaganda tool and has access to Americans' user data through parent ByteDance. Joining me now, live in studio, member of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Cybersecurity Task Force, the Sidera CEO, Robert Herjavec. And Robert, you're our Shark Tank guy, too, so we're thrilled to have you here. But do you think this is going to pass? And are you as worried about TikTok as everybody else in Congress?
I am, but I'm a bad guy to ask because I'm a cybersecurity expert, so I worry about what's happening in America. I mean, you've been talking about AI. If you think about AI, which is really popular right now, it's a big data problem. So who has more big data is going to win. And my worry about, there's no doubt that the Chinese government is using TikTok to collect data.
Wait, no doubt. Do you have evidence? Because I keep asking, we've asked Senator Mark Warner, because I want to know. Obviously, some of it is classified, but can you give us a sense of what it is that the Chinese government is doing?
Well, I can't give you a sense of it, but I can tell you that if they don't change ownership, I think you're going to see a fundamental change in the law in the United States. The flip side of that, though, is for a lot of people that don't care about any of the stuff we're talking about, it's a way to make money. It's a way to connect. I was just talking to some of your people outside. They're watching Shark Tank on TikTok, right? So I think you've got these two camps. It's a hugely popular media. And the government's got to find a way to allow people to use it in a way that's safe for Americans.
Stephen Mnuchin, the former Treasury Secretary, there are rumors or a possible interest that he has in putting together a consortium to buy TikTok. Would that be anything you'd be interested in doing, or no way?
Absolutely. You've got such a huge customer base. It's hugely popular. I don't think they'll have any problem selling it to an American owner.
But do you think they will agree to do that? And will they give them that IP, that intellectual property of their algorithmic brilliance that they have?
I don't know. I think it's such a popular and growing app. Mm-hmm. We've got to do something with it. I think the fundamental issue is when you have foreign-owned corporations that are fundamentally involved with the government, like China, and this is no different for China or Russia or Ukraine or other countries where the government's deeply involved with the companies, and they're collecting so much data on our users and our kids and our corporations. There's got to be a limit to it. There's got to be a limit to some of that data.
Let's broaden the discussion to cybersecurity and the hacking and the increases that we've seen. This industry is driven by escalating sophistication of the hacks that are out there. AI has added a whole new dimension to that. Actually, it's almost a double-edged sword. AI can catch these hacks, but the hackers are now using AI to fake voices and do all kinds of really worrisome things. What is the most frightening thing that you've seen and you're most concerned about?
The most frightening thing with AI for us is the acceleration and the speed of the hacking. Now I can replicate your voice, I can replicate a video message. Some of the recent hacks that have happened have been through people imitating somebody else. Right. It is virtually impossible. A lot of our customers now do a challenge and response, meaning if I call in, I forgot my password, even if I'm on video, they don't trust me anymore. They have to call me back on my cell phone number. So, as you said, it's a double-edged sword. Here's the good news. I can spot hackers faster. We protect some of the largest companies in the United States. AI has enabled us to do that faster. But guess what? It's done the same thing for hackers. The other interesting thing, Liz, is there was an act in 2022 that said any company that had a breach had to report voluntarily within a number of days. There's talk in the Senate that law, that's going to become law now, and you have to report within 48 hours. How many companies are in a position to know they've been breached. And now things are moving even faster with AI.
Well, and the government's spending a lot on cybersecurity coming up. Dan Ives was here on the show saying buy cyber stocks. Let me just bring in your other persona, and that is to be on Shark Tank and invest in startups. If Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Chair, holds rates higher for longer, what does that mean for growing companies that are trying to grow by borrowing money?
Yeah. What people don't realize is debt is what powers a lot of small companies. When I started my company, I started with credit cards. Then we got bigger. Then got a mortgage and so on. Mortgage rates hit above 7% again today. I'm sure you saw that. And it's kind of put a freeze on the housing market too. So for small businesses, they have to have access to borrowing. I'm a little more bullish, though. I think you're going to see interest rates come down towards the end of the year. I think we're going to see at least two cuts this year. So I'm optimistic on that.
I'm so glad that you're optimistic, and it's great to have you here in studio.